Subira. Really fantastic to have you both here. Thank you for joining us. I say this with great sadness, we're at the end of our 2-week residency at 101 Creation Space in Newbury. You kindly gave us our first film as we started this process. Subira, you joined us for the second week. Do you mind introducing yourselves, explaining what your role has been here, and then telling us a bit about how you found it and what you've been up to? Perhaps if we start with Em.
Sure. My name's Emma, and I've been, holding the space, leading the process here over the last 2 weeks, but working with an amazing team, an amazing group of actors and performers.
Thank you.
My name is Subira. My pronouns are they, them. And yeah, I joined for this last week, kind of as a sort of outside eye, but I've been kind of getting involved in all of the kind of activities and processes, just getting stuck in anyway. Like, I've not just been sitting back and watching, and we've been like working on specific scenes, and yeah, it's been good, it's been great.
That's great, thank you. Maybe if we start then with Subira and coming into this process, we kind of shifted from week 1 thinking about music and choreography and dance to thinking about the queer and trans love story at the centre of this play. What was it like coming into that world, and how have you found that experience?
So, I mean, first of all, coming into this after everyone's already been here for a week was kind of daunting, but the company have just been super like welcoming and wonderful, and so it's kind of been interesting jumping into an already established group, and whilst the focus has also shifted, but yeah, it's been really great to kind of focus on the trans narratives with all of the company kind of feeding into the conversations in a way that felt really like healthy and kind of broad. Yeah, and there's been really interesting things coming up. We've had a lot of kind of fun playing with the different ways that we can look at and embody and joke about gender in this kind of way that is like really affirming for all of the trans people involved and like playful. It's felt really good. Like, definitely I've kind of ended days being like, oh my god, I haven't stopped thinking all day. But like in this way that you don't usually get to have these kind of conversations and play with kind of scripts in that sort of way. Yeah, like it's been a really amazing experience, and I'm sad that it's nearly over.
And do you have any thoughts in response to what Subira's just given us?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. It has not only like been going to bed with full head, it's been dreaming all night about the things that have happened in the room. I think one of the things we've talked about a lot about this week is about what happens when you invite a company to bring their own lived identity into the room. I feel like I'm almost quoting a question that we framed with the group we were working with 2 years ago on Galatea on Turtle Island, and that is guidance that's available online, which maybe we can link to. But that same question, if you're inviting people's lived identities into a like meaningful and real story, but still a pretend story, then how, what's the process of actually looking after people within that, and where's the care? And so I think questions like the permission for those of us who are trans to play with gender in a way that maybe the real world doesn't allow us, but then a production question, how do we protect those actors in, how do we educate an audience so that when they're laughing at someone playing with gender, we all appreciate they're laughing for the right reasons. And that's something that I think has come up because this play is so brilliant. There's the trans characters who are exploring their gender in a real and playful way, but then there's also other characters like Cupid, who is messing with gender in a more abusive way and in a different way, and so it's interesting having these different flavors. And what's been nice this week with the kind of experimental side of things has been trying some of those roles out on different bodies and saying, okay, what does this look like if it's a cis man playing it? What does this look like if it's a queer cis woman playing it? What does it look like on a trans body? So yeah, we're very, very full of potential.
And Subira, you said it was daunting coming into this world that was already kind of in process, but at the same time we sort of started afresh this week.
Yeah.
And it was so glorious watching you and learning with you about how to lead scenes that we hadn't explored yet. So you sort of were creating a whole new world and bringing it in. How did that feel, kind of fitting your new world into a pre-existing set of people, set of characters?
That's a good question. I think because of the work that I'd already done with Emma in Turtle Island, I already had my ideas of who these characters were, what the story was, and so for me, the main thing I was telling myself coming into it was like, don't put that on other people, like try and let everyone just bring themselves to it and we'll figure through it, and I can like try and be open and learn the new different ways of looking at everything, which I felt like was able to happen in a really exciting way, seeing different people I hadn't met, like embodying these characters that I had already met. And also, I think for me, it's quite a new experience, the way that I was kind of being with a scene and like almost sort of supporting supporting Duffy directing, and sometimes you kind of coming in and out. And so for me, like, I don't know, yeah, I probably would usually stand back a bit more, or I'd be involved in the playing, but taking that kind of position of like watching a scene and then giving feedback and tweaks and stuff, like that was quite new for me, and I feel like it went pretty well most of the time, so I'm proud of myself. And I think it was like a really wonderful space that we were able to create where people could like come in and out of different roles, and I think, you know, having performers be able to step in and say, oh, I think XYZ, and, you know, everyone like, and the stage manager having opinions, and like, you know, like it was all such a like equal, we all had equal status, so that felt really collaborative and lovely. Yeah.
Again and again, people have said that in interviews, so I think anyone watching always in interviews will either have to conclude that it's true or that there's a real kind of company line where we all have to say it. But it's a tribute to Emma, right? Emma's so good at guiding whilst also empowering everyone else to lead in the room.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you were going to say
Thank you. Well, no, I was just going to say, like, you know, people are watching that, and it is being said again and again. And the other thing that I've heard a lot this week is people saying along the lines of, I have never felt so supported in a process. I have never been allowed the things that I fully need in a process. And whilst it's tempting to take the credit for that, really all that I've tried to do in my own practice over the last decade, I suppose, is listen to what people have told me and then try and implement those things, even though that sometimes comes at a higher financial cost, or it means that you work slower, or it means that you set a different expectation of what success looks like. Does success look like we really rigorously got through the whole play, or does success look like the company is going to speak to each other again after 2 weeks? And you know, a lot of people have fed into my learning and my understanding of that, and it's still a process. There's lots that I've learned from these 2 weeks that I'll take forward, and you know, this is what we were saying on the first day, and we were putting our room agreement together, that our intention or our agreement as a group has been to move towards decolonizing spaces, and to feel that as a white person leading the group that we're even able to do that a little bit feels like, you know, that's a big collaboration and there's a lot of trust in that. So yeah, I think if people are watching that and thinking that sounds good, then get in touch, look at the resources that are out there, and just be prepared to perhaps dump some of the more toxic and unhealthy working practices that are prevalent in the theatre industry.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess that repeated line through our interviews is kind of an indictment on that theatre industry, because although everyone's been doing brilliant things here, it's also stuff that we should all be doing at a kind of minimum, right?
Yeah.
So we've just to let the audience know that we've recently done a 20-minute version of Galatea, followed by a sort of 2-minute, but maybe more like 10-minute version. And now we're wrapping up to have our final bits of conversation as we say goodbye to the company. Are there any little nuggets you might share with us to finish in terms of where you think the conversation might go, or things you will take away from the 2 weeks?
Seeing how many ways there are to integrate the different languages we've been working in, I think that's really excited me about the project. We've known right from the start it's going to be outdoors, and we wanted to work with deaf and hearing actors, and I think we've found some really satisfying ways of seeing that happen. So I'm excited for that, and it was exciting chatting with Duffy, who was assistant directing yesterday, and seeing his excitement for that as well. So yeah, that's for me.
Subira?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that there's just, I'm just excited for the continuation.
We just paused for Laurie to go past. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited for the continuations of the conversations that have been happening, and like, yeah, I feel like I've learned so much and kind of absorbed so much from this 1 week, and it really feels like this sort of momentum to like keep playing, and like, yeah, I can't wait for things to come together. I feel like there's been so many moments of like clicking into place this week, and yeah, it's just like I can't wait for that zoom out where you see the whole thing.
I can't wait to see this production now.
I can't wait.
And this autumn we're going to go into now the production design for it, so we're going to start seeing images and sketches and ideas, and you know, next year we'll be into casting. It's very exciting. Watch this space.
And now into the Grove, back we go. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.